All right, guys, welcome
Okey-doke.
back to One Team, One Podcast, episode 31.
Jesse Daniels.
Damn it. Cam Lewis.
Yeah, 31's just not a big number, huh?
It's not a very popular number. So live streaming. We're
Yeah.
not live stream guys. We've already said that.
This is try two.
Yeah, we are possibly never doing this again because it's just a pain in the ass. But we are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and a lot of stuff to talk about because it is game week, Jack.
Yeah.
Our
Big game week.
first game week podcast.
Finally.
I know. We are finally there.
We're doing it.
What?
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
It's happening.
Well, we were originally scheduled to do. We started a podcast right before LSU baseball Ole Miss series, and COVID canceled everything. So I've been really anxious about having a podcast during a actual live LSU sporting event, and now we're here.
Yeah.
So it's taken us forever, but we finally gotten there. Guys, we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot of good sponsors here as well. So first, I need to give a big shout out to Courtesy Automotive Group. Brandon Lejeune at Courtesy's always been really good to our podcast. Brandon is kicking out some serious deals right there. That's where the Courtesy logo is. Brandon's always kicking out some serious deals, man. He has got 2020 deals right now for just about any 2020 going on right now on the lot. Pretty much. Let me look at his hit list. Brandon always has a good little hit list going on. Let's see what we got here. Brandon's hit list. Let me pull it up. I know he's got 2020 Tahoes out there
Nice.
because he's got 2021, not Tahoes, Yukons. Yes, 2021s that are rolling in.
Can't cut it out because we're live.
We can't cut it out because we're live. This is why I don't do that. But he's got 2021s rolling in, so he's cutting deals on a lot of these 2020s. I know he's got Encores, Envisions.
Nice.
He also had a GMC. They possibly could have a Hummer, GMC Hummer coming later, a Hummer
very
truck.
nice. Hummer truck.
Yeah, they haven't actually released it yet, but he's super excited about it. So there's a lot of cool things coming for Courtesy. Follow them at Courtesy Buick GMC on Facebook. You can also follow Brandon Lejeune. He's going to post all that kind of stuff on his Facebook page, and we'll post all that on our Facebook when we have the audio broadcast of this. But also Bear Process Safety guys, the Big Orange Bear, Adam Barry. He's been really good to our podcast. Yeah, he just actually sent me a message. He's taking the under 48 tonight.
Under 48.
Yeah, so
Against
Big
who?
Orange Bear. This is the Saints in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Under 48.
Just completely blanked. My mind just didn't work for
so
a second.
the Big Orange Bear has been doing a little betting, and he's been sponsoring our Home Dogs podcast as well. So Adam's always been a really good big supporter, and he is big in the plant and industrial area, guys. So if we have a lot of plant workers that listen, and I think we do have a few, I know of one at BASF in particular, reach out to Adam Barry at Bear Process Safety. Get him in touch with your safety coordinators. The Bear would love to set up a meeting with those guys. Also, we are going to always make our live streams sponsored by DeJean Law Office. That's Andy DeJean, 344 Andy. Andy, man, if you guys need anything as far as legal advice, he specializes in personal injury, criminal, family law. So that pretty much covers a lot of aspects right there. Andy is the most passionate lawyer that I've ever met in my life. So if you guys really, really need help, reach out to Andy. Andy will be the one that can get you what you need and what you deserve. So 344 Andy, DeJean Law Office. All right, Jack, we got a lot going on. So Coach Ogeron spoke today because it's game week, and on Monday he had his normal presser, and he did it through Zoom, which is totally weird still. But he was also in 60 Minutes last night. We got the whole NFL slate. We have the Saints on Monday Night Football. This is just crazy time, right? We are going to possibly have another podcast on Wednesday night to kind of do a bigger preview for Mississippi State. And we'll have Preston Guy on. I'm going to get with Preston from Tiger Bait. But we may also have Justin Hillhouse from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we did a bet with Justin, what is it, a couple months ago now?
Yeah. It was right when the schedule was released.
Okay. So yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah.
Then. We did a bet with him right when that schedule was released that LSU would win by 17 points. And he bet us a bottle of bourbon. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have him on. We'll talk about it if I can get him. So he may chicken out. I don't really know yet.
He ain't chickening out.
So we'll get him on. We'll get Preston on. We can talk a little bit, dive into Mississippi State. But a couple of things that happened today was the depth chart got released.
Yeah, that was cool.
Anything that you noticed on there other than John Kirkland is 800 pounds?
814 pounds, yeah. Big time, 600-pound weight gain.
I mean, who is doing the... Come on, who's doing that? Who made the typo?
That has to be intentional because the 8's nowhere close to the 2 on the keyboard.
What is he? 215 pounds?
Probably.
Is John Terry Kirkland? Was he 6 foot?
That has to be what it meant to say, or maybe it's 184.
That's got to be it. They transfixed those numbers.
Yeah.
Transpose, I should say. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was trying to figure that out. I was like.
For some reason, I just assumed 214. And then
no, he's not.
Now
that
you
big.
mention it, yeah, no, 214 is crazy.
Okay, so yeah, John Trey Kirkland was 814 pounds on the depth chart today. Out the box, our other podcast with Bandit Radio, they commented that they noticed Zach von Rosenberg is 245.
Oh yeah, big boy.
Yeah, yeah, him and Miles Brennan. Speaking of Miles Brennan,
Zach von Rosenberg's 6'5" though, so like that's not.
We had a Miles Brennan alert the other day. Didn't we?
Yeah. Sarah saw him at an unnamed source saw him at New York Bagel.
Okay, New York Bagel, but we don't know what he was eating.
She didn't see what he was eating. She didn't even realize it was him until like 10 minutes after.
Okay, so he was at New York Bagel. I wonder if
my source is
Zach was with him because Zach is 245. That is.
She said that he was with his girlfriend and a guy and his girlfriend.
I don't know. Could be. I don't know. I really know. So you guys keep finding Miles Brennan out at restaurants? We want to know, and we want to know what he's eating, what he's got on his plate. I feel like those days have left us a little bit because now it's like, okay,
yeah,
we're getting going here.
Yeah, now we're more focused on the John Trey Kirkland weight loss gain.
Yes, you're right. We have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So Ogeron on 60 Minutes, you saw the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
I saw clips. I didn't watch the actual show.
It was pretty good. It was good. It was fun.
I love the Power Hour.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I loved how giddy he got about it when they asked him that they were like, so what's Power Hour? And he goes,
Yeah, he gets really excited.
Yeah, and then they show him. He's talking to all the kids. What you say, boy? Yeah. How you doing? How's your mama doing?
How's the best wide receiver in the country?
Yeah, that was a fun little interview. That was fun to see.
Yeah, he's just so jacked up all the time.
Yeah, he really is.
I saw somebody on I think it was on 104.5 on the chat today was saying something about like is he like getting tanning from like a tanning bed? And I was like, no way.
No.
The dude's running.
He just runs out with his shirt off.
Bare shirt on
sunscreen.
The levee every day. That's what happens.
He's like a cow.
Yeah, his skin is like leather.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy. There ain't nothing like Coach O.
How much would it cost to get a shirt made out of, a couch made out of Coach O?
I don't know, a lot.
The Coach O couch.
Yeah, a lot of money. All right, so what else is happening right now? I feel like it's a strange game week. Like, I understand it's the first game and all, but it's just still a little strange. And
yeah, they still haven't let students know who's getting tickets and stuff.
So I found out today a couple of people that I know have gotten their tickets, but it's not students.
Yeah. Students were supposed to be announced today, and it's 6 o'clock, and we still don't know.
I know somebody that has a pair of suite tickets, and their family also has a pair of tickets in the stadium.
Okay.
And I've heard of another set that also has some tickets in the stadium. But yeah, it's weird how everything's getting released. And yeah, they were supposed to let y'all know today, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't look like they're going to. So
honestly, what's the difference? Like you're not going to be able to tailgate anyway.
Yeah. But I would like to know if I'm going to the game or not.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be tomorrow, it could be Wednesday.
Anything that I'm always going to accuse the ticket office of being incompetent because I just don't like them.
Oh.
I just don't like them. I just always think that they fudge up and stuff, and they don't. I always feel like the students get the raw end of every deal.
Well, that's
other
true.
than getting. I mean, we do have very, very cheap tickets, which is nice. But
no, that is true that you are going to get the raw deal because students will always get the raw deal. But yeah, I think with everything with no tailgating, that's going to create a little bit different of an issue now, where they're not worried about a lot of people making their plans. First of all, because they're probably trying to limit attendance to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, so let's go back to the depth chart. Anything else you saw on that before we move on to the next thing?
Ali Gay's starter.
Yeah.
Over Trevez Moore. That's interesting.
Dude, I saw a picture of Trevez Moore on Facebook today, and
some Daniil Hunter vibes.
No, I mean he's a big guy.
Uh-huh.
But he looks like he's 35 years old. I swear to God.
I feel like he is.
I mean, guy is
He transferred in. He transferred in, and I still feel like he's been here for 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the year, right? This has got to be the year, huh?
Well, what, you mean like his last year or like his
Well, no,
his
it's
first
not
big
necessarily
year?
his last year, is it? Because
no, he's going to be back next year.
Okay, that's crazy. Let's see. So the Saints are tonight. I saw just before there, I was watching AFR, and they were talking about Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark both had their predictions for the Saints tonight.
Uh-huh.
Marcus Spears thinks the Saints are going to win. Ryan Clark, shocker, thinks that the Raiders are going to beat the Saints.
Yeah, big time Drew Brees hater.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Who's not a Drew Brees hater at this point, though?
I don't know what the big freaking deal is. Like, just leave the guy alone, man. This is last year. Can we just move on? So I think, and we were just talking to a couple of the guys from the Home Dogs, and we'll talk about some home dog bets tonight because I think the Saints, we're looking at the Saints here.
It's minus
5.5. Well,
it dropped to -4 after Michael Thomas.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if they took that or not. We were -5.5. We were good with that.
Mm.
So it's one of those Monday Night Football. What team is better suited than the Saints to overcome an injury like Michael Thomas?
Yeah,
and still put on a show.
I mean, he's the best player on the team, so that's tough. But I still think we're fine.
I'm not saying that. It's kind of like when Drew Brees goes down and Teddy Bridgewater comes in, and all of a sudden the Saints look like a Super Bowl team again.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people mentioning that as the reason we're going to be fine, and I kind of agree. But I also, it's kind of hot take.
Taysom Hill
hot take time, but
hot takes from Jack.
I kind of think Michael Thomas is more important to this team than Drew Brees.
Well, I kind of agree with you there.
I don't know. I watched the game last week and I was like, Drew Brees doesn't look like he's built to carry a football team anymore.
I think Taysom Hill is going to be one of your most important people on this whole team.
Yeah.
The entire year. So
and I think it's so huge, isn't it, that we just got Emmanuel Sanders.
Yes.
I mean,
I think
could you imagine last year if we didn't have Michael Thomas? Who were we throwing the ball to?
Right. Because Tre'Quan Smith isn't stepping up.
Yeah.
I saw some, we talked to Mincy about it because we were talking about Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that we can do to get Odell Beckham because of the money situation. But man, how great of a situation would that be to have Odell Beckham come over?
Oh yeah.
I think you'd have. What would you have to give up though? You'd have to give up probably Kamara. You'd probably have to.
Yeah.
A couple of.
You'd have to give up stuff that I don't think would be worth giving up.
I would rather give them up for a quarterback. Yeah. If Jameis doesn't work out for you.
I kind of think Jameis is going to work out too.
Well, I think Jameis was a cheap way for them to.
Taysom could work out.
I think Jameis is a cheap way for them to transition to the next era.
Yeah.
But I think
I've seen people say that maybe the
decision.
Saints go get Trey Lance, the North Dakota State kid. I think that would be a cool move. I just the way that Sean Payton runs this offense with Taysom, I kind of feel like he wants a running quarterback. He wants to move on to that because I feel like he just has such a good idea of how to use running quarterbacks.
I don't like the idea of Taysom Hill just being your quarterback only.
That's why I don't think it would be Taysom Hill because I don't think Taysom is.
I like the idea of
nearly
Jameis
accurate
Winston
enough.
coming in and Taysom Hill
Staying in his
still
role.
being in
Yeah.
his same flex role.
I could see that too, and I would like that.
Speaking of, we have Taysom Hill as a tight end tonight in one of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, you just told me that you can use Taysom Hill as a tight end. I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's so cool. I have Noah Fant, but like, that's still really cool.
I dropped Gronkowski since Gronkowski is still out of shape and had 0 catches for 0 yards.
He's not rosterable.
I'm
Drop him, Travis.
Yeah, I'm going to
Travis
drop
has
him all the
him
way. I'm going to drop him all the way. So, NFL had an interesting little day. We got some game day inactives, but
Yeah.
So, what struck your eye from the NFL this weekend?
This weekend, so many injuries is the main thing.
Oh,
That's
I
the big
know.
headline. Saquon and Christian McCaffrey. That's most fantasy leagues 1-2.
Yeah, I had Saquon in one.
I had Christian McCaffrey, my money league. So I'm hurting.
Who else got hurt? There was another person that got hurt.
Like the whole entire Broncos team.
Uh,
Drew Lock's hurt.
Drew Lock, that's it.
Cortland Sutton's hurt again.
Man,
Hurt
talk about some bad
He had a
breaks.
shoulder. He came back. Now he hurt his knee. Looks like it might be a torn ACL.
They've had some bad
Sucks for
breaks
him.
already because a lot of people were high on Denver to start the season.
I mean, I was.
There's so many weapons.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now you lose the quarterback. Now you got Jeff Driscoll starting. You don't have your best receiver.
Anything from college that struck your eye this weekend,
College.
other than Tulane
I'm trying to even. Oh my god.
completely blowing it?
That Tulane game.
This is why I've quit betting. 'Cause of Tulane.
That's the big one.
Oh, it's the worst, man.
That's
Like, what
that
are they
was
doing?
So tough to watch, especially
Um,
with Billy.
Oh, I'm sure. I understood a little bit more after watching the entire game.
You see
I
what I'm
understood
saying
a little
now
bit
with
more with
Fritz?
the Willie Fritz being very conservative.
Just like sometimes I watch Tulane games and I'm like, he's
Just
kind
put
of an
them
idiot.
away, man. Just put them away. Navy was begging for you to put them away.
Yes, and you just kept letting him stay in the game. Oh my goodness.
So
That was
Navy's
frustrating.
screwed me 2 weeks in a row now. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely not on any more Navy games.
And you caught the wrong end of Dino Babers again.
Again, Syracuse
Mhm.
has screwed me twice.
Yep.
Um,
Syracuse and Navy. That's your two bugaboos.
I mean, if guys, I'm gonna
How
post
you
some
like that
pics
word?
on bugaboos. Yeah,
That's a great word.
that sounds like a word I would have used.
Mhm.
I'm gonna post some pics on the home dogs, and I'm gonna keep doing it every week. Y'all just go against me. Whatever I
Yeah.
pick, just go against me. You're gonna do great, and let me know how much money you win.
Well,
when you
no,
go against me.
usually because now that you're not betting, now you're gonna
No,
start.
I'm
getting
gonna
them
do
right.
great now. I
Yeah.
know.
No pressure.
Jeez. Georgia Tech, Central Florida. I watched pretty much all of that game.
Oh, that was a fun game. Georgia Tech is a fun.
I
team.
really
They
like
just
Georgia Tech
suck.
too.
It's
Yeah,
like they're fun, but they suck.
Well, Central Florida, I think, is a little better than we were thinking. With
They
Taylor
got some
Gabriel,
dudes. I love Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. Who's Taylor Gabriel?
That's like
He used to be a
he used to
Florida
be a
for
receiver.
Florida for
He used to be a receiver,
receiver
for the
for Florida.
Falcons. Oh, and Florida. I didn't
Yeah,
know he went
okay.
to Florida. Dude, there's so many guys in the league that I'm like, oh, I didn't know he went to Florida.
Yeah, I think with Dylan Gabriel, they can kind of move the ball up and down on a team like Georgia. They don't have the depth yet to kind of
They
come
just
back.
don't have it on the defensive side of the ball.
No, but I love
They
those
got-
two freshmen.
Oh yeah,
Sims
Sims and the guy who I really wanted to come to LSU. Blanking on his name.
I don't know, number 21.
21. Yeah,
Yeah, running back.
Jameer Gibbs. That's it.
Gibbs. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Jameer Gibbs. He doesn't when he runs. How much does he remind you of Kamara?
Yeah, he even looks like him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like with a little dreadlock kind of
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
I like him too. Two true freshmen. That's going to be a solid team in a couple of years.
Although speaking of LSU running backs, I can see why Jameer Gibbs didn't want to come to LSU. With you saw on the depth chart they didn't even use like the oars thing.
What did they say?
They put for the running back. They said Chris Curry, Ty Davis Price, Emory, and they put them all in the same line.
Oh,
They didn't even like stack them on top of each other. I think they just didn't want to.
man, I watched I watched the 2019. I feel like this is me gearing up for game week. I watched the 2019 Mississippi State game from last year.
I saw.
And first of all, Elair is just.
Yeah, he looked great in that game. You know who else had a good game that day was Ty Davis Price.
He did. That's what I was going to say is later in the game, they had a holding penalty or he would have been close to another score in that game. But, yeah, he was super
fast in that game.
Yeah,
didn't
very
he?
explosive and they just look so fresh
there
when
were a couple
he came in
times
the
in
game.
that game when he ran, and I was just like, I didn't know he had that speed in the open field.
But then I watch Elair. If we can get any kind of production like we got out of Elair last year, out of these three guys,
I kind of think you will.
I think you're going to as well. But he does a couple of things. Like Elair, he has some of these jump cuts in the middle of a run that are just unreal to me. And I don't know if we have a guy like that right now, or if it's maybe Emery that can be a little slashy like that. I'm not quite sure yet.
Well,
but,
I like that the coaches say that Emery's starting to get his mental side of the game together.
Yeah, I feel like it was a vision thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
I always think of a young running back like I remember this.
Probably a little bit of pass blocking too.
Yeah, I remember this in high school a little bit where it was like, a young running back that was talented would never follow his blocks and he was never patient enough and things like that. And maybe that was a little bit to him where he just thought he could outrun some people maybe and get to a hole, but just kind of being a little bit more patient with it, but then having that burst. And I think that's what we would want to replace a guy like Elair.
I played against Clyde in both of my leagues this week, so that was a weird feeling to be cheering.
Well, he didn't have a great
bit.
week though.
He really didn't. But he looked good, but he didn't play well.
Yeah,
he didn't have great stats. I mean, so.
All right. So, do we want to do a score prediction this week, or do you want to wait till Wednesday?
Let's do it now.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, and then maybe like towards game time, I'll let you know like how I always change from Monday to like Wednesday.
I would like to. So
me.
Later in the week, what I will do too is I want to give like a score prediction for the rest of the SEC for those games too.
Yeah.
Especially Alabama, like the Alabama game. I'm all over.
You
if I was betting,
which I'm not.
If I'm still, I'm not. But if I was,
I did. I saw that minus 27 for Bama, and I was like,
I saw minus 26 the other day.
Points.
Oh no, it's not. Dude, that's a 55 to 10 game, easy.
Yeah, I saw Georgia was minus 26 against Arkansas, and I was like, that's not enough points. And then I was like, oh, wait, they have Dwayne Matthews. So
what's his name really?
You said Dwayne
is it
Matthews.
really Dwayne Matthews?
It's Dwan Mathis.
Dwan Mathis.
You said Dwayne Matthews.
I don't know who he is, and you're expecting me to, put them in the playoffs? I have never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I am sure Georgia fans have heard who
the only thing
Miles
I know
Brennan
about
is.
him is that he's a dual threat guy and that he just had brain surgery. That's all I know.
So why are we putting that's what's killing me this year is like we're putting a team like Georgia in the playoffs and we're just giving them the benefit of the doubt, even though they have a third string quarterback that's now your starter that I've never heard of. But then a team like LSU, who had the best offense in the history of the world last year, replacing them with Miles Brennan, with the same scheme is in place.
Yeah.
But yes, you don't even talk about it because we lost too much. Like,
and
it's crazy.
It is crazy. But I mean, to be fair, LSU did lose. I don't think I remember any team ever losing as much as LSU is losing this year.
I understand that.
And that's where I can understand like where you're coming from. But at the same time, you have to look at it further. And there was a guy, Matt Moscona, talked about him today. I can't remember who it was.
Yes, I saw it because I posted it on Twitter.
And he said, at first I thought that I had my mind made up about LSU, and then I looked through their roster and I was like, oh, they're returning that guy and that guy and that guy. And that's kind of like that's what you've been screaming
Bill
for
Connolly.
Yeah, Bill Connolly.
I wrote about Matt Moscona says this, and everybody who knows me knows that I don't like agreeing with Matt Moscona all the time. And I said, damn it, I feel like I've been shouting this for 2 months now. But yes, it's the same thing where all I hear is about, and I heard it from Tim Tebow, like you lost so many guys. How can you replace that? Well, you don't even know what we have.
Yeah.
I'll say it again, and I said it before. The team that we had last year, our second team could have beaten Texas A&M. That's how much better LSU was
you always
than a
come to
team
Texas
like
A&M.
Texas A&M.
You always coming to Texas
Because
A&M.
everybody kept coming back with A&M. All of a sudden, everybody's
Well,
backing off of that pick from A&M because they had opt-outs.
People like to put
Easy way out.
a little too much stock into returning starters. And A&M, I think, has the most returning production in the SEC.
Yeah, except it
LSU
was
has,
terrible
like,
production.
Yeah. That's the big thing. It's like, Texas A&M's returning 18 starters. That's why I know that they're going to suck again.
Yeah. Great point. All right, so they had a linebacker opt out, and apparently he's their second leading tackler.
Yeah.
Returning.
I think he was outside linebacker. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a linebacker.
Yeah,
but when
edge guy.
somebody posted that, he's opting out, and I responded and I said, so 57-7 this year? Like that's we're at such a different level, and I think people are trying to close that gap with no credence at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that people let's get off of Texas A&M. Auburn's going to be as good as us.
Auburn's going to be better than A&M.
Better than A&M, but they're not like the people that try to put Bo Nix on this like super high level now is nutty to me.
The only reason Auburn is going to be able to like on a given day, I think they could beat LSU. Mainly because I know that their defense is night and day above different between them and Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. Like A&M's not going to be able to stop us. They weren't able to stop us when we ran our poo-poo offense.
I still don't think I think the way, and I've talked about this before, the way the schedule works out for LSU this year, you're still going to have to outscore us. And even on the road against Florida and against Auburn, you're going to have limited capacity in those two stadiums. It's not going to be quite as tough of a game for us as it was before. It's still a tough game, but it's not as tough as what it was going to be. A full house Swamp and a full house Jordan Hare, yeah, that's tough. It would have been really tough for a new guy like Brennan coming in to kind of make that happen. But 20,000 in the Swamp, that's not enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
If our offense is still moving the ball, I still think that we can score 30 points a game on both of those teams. My question is, can those teams score 30 points against us? And I keep going back to that over and over and over because it's making me realize that, okay, this whole 8-2 business, this whole 7-3 business, I don't know what you guys are smoking.
7-3 feels a little.
That's your baseline.
Little too low.
That's a bad year for us. I'm
7-3. I'm disappointed.
I think there's a lot of people, a lot of fan base that would be acceptable of that because you did lose so many people. But to me, with the people that were returning and this, to me, a 7-3 means you regressed on offense. That's what that means to me.
It might not mean that. It might just mean Miles Brennan wasn't ready yet. And that's still possible. Because, I mean, Coach O talked about it today, and he said the only thing we don't know about Miles Brennan is how he's going to do under fire. And now, he said, granted, I think he'll do very well under fire. But let's say he comes in and he gets a little razzled at times against a decent pressure. Like, let's say we don't know what Dare Rosenthal is going to be. We have good thoughts about him, but we don't know. And let's say he gives up some pressure all season and, Miles Brennan doesn't respond well under pressure. Maybe he throws some picks.
Right.
That's the only way I can see this team sucking.
Turnovers for sure. Yeah. That's number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If he's throwing picks, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
If he's not accurate with the ball, that's a different story. But to me, if your wide receivers are in space and he's able to get the ball to him, I don't know what the problem is. Like a guy like Eric Gilbert's going to open the field for you probably more than Thaddeus Moss did last year.
Eric Gilbert's kind of going to be like a guy that, like, you know how Joe Burrow, if there was nothing open, he could just kind of throw it up to Jamar.
Yeah.
And Jamar would just go get it sometime or most of the time. That's going to kind of be what Eric Gilbert is, I think, because he's just so big and he has just so much athleticism.
Right.
You're just going to be able to throw it up to him in one-on-one situations. He's just going to go Moss guys.
I think so too. I just want to make sure that on our offense, we still are spread out and we're still I mean, I want the run pass ratio the same as what we had last year. I don't want to see any going backwards with conservative philosophy.
I don't
think you are either, and I just want to see it with my eyeballs.
I don't think you're going to see the exact same run pass ratio. I don't think you're going to see it exactly the same. I think there will be a little bit more of a need to lean on the run game because I think Miles Brennan will need a little assistance. And I like our offensive line, and I think they'll be able to move guys around.
I'm disagreeing. I don't want to see us change anything from what we did last year. Mm-hmm. Just plug in the guys into those positions, and let's see how that offense does the same way.
Well, no, and all I'm saying is if it's, let's say last year was 50-50. I don't know what exactly it was, but let's say it was 50-50 last year. This year maybe it'll be like 52-48 run to pass.
Okay, so barely any change.
That's what I'm saying. I think it'll be a slight adjustment towards running the ball a little.
I like the idea of utilizing a run game, and it's quote unquote run game, but maybe some short passes to get some confidence and things like that. Yeah, I like that idea more than I like just trying to hand off.
I do wonder. Well, maybe we'll see thrown to the backs a little bit more than last year.
I would love that.
That's kind of a Scott Linehan staple, actually. Now that I think about it, I know who was their running back when he was with the Lions. I can't remember, but whoever it was, he had his most receptions
catches
he's ever had in his career when he was with Scott Linehan. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing for him, is thrown to the backs. I think he had one guy it was Ezekiel Elliott actually with the Cowboys.
Okay.
When Scott Linehan was their OC, he had something like 100 catches or something like that.
Again, guys, we are going to have another show on Wednesday. We wanted to do a quick live stream before the Saints game. Saints going to be coming on in about an hour now.
Wait, we never guessed the score.
Okay, what's the score? What, the Mississippi State game? What you got?
I'm gonna go 37-14. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay,
that's kind of where I'm at. Something like 27-7 at halftime.
37-13, as you said.
37-14.
Okay, mine was 45-13.
45-13.
Yeah.
Why'd you give me a face then? It's not that far off.
Because I think we're going to score more points than that.
It's just like an extra touchdown.
I think we are going to score like gangbusters still.
But you only had one more touchdown than me.
I know, but over 40 points is kind of like a barometer a little bit against Mississippi State. Like if we score, I know we did 36-7 last year, but we didn't score. We didn't score in the fourth quarter. We only scored 3 points in the first quarter last year.
I see why that couldn't happen again. It's the first game of the season. With new guys, no spring.
Their defense isn't going to be as good as they were last year. Mississippi State's.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know anything about their defense and what they're returning and stuff. I don't know anything.
I know we're gonna chop that up on Wednesday. But
I'm looking into that a little more.
I mean, I'm thinking of a Mike Leach team that's gonna try to throw the ball a whole bunch. We're gonna win time of possession just because they're gonna have some 3 and outs.
That's gonna be interesting with Mike Leach because that's an offense that's built to run the ball.
It is, and they're not there yet. It's kind of like Georgia Tech on the opposite side, you know.
Yeah, I went back and watched. I only watched the highlights of it, but I watched that Texas game back in 2008 when Crabtree caught the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like he might have to go back towards that a little bit, just with a more balanced offense than he has been running in the past 10 years.
I agree with that. Yeah. So Saints game tonight. You like the Saints?
Yeah. I think so.
I do too. I like the Saints big, guys. So, again, we're going to cut it short tonight. Want to thank DeJean Law Office. They're going to be the sponsor of our live streams. Also, courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette, guys. 4750 Johnson Street. Check them out. Courtesy Buick GMC. Brandon Lejeune is kicking them out over there. And then Bear Process Safety, the big orange bear, Adam Berry, doing some work here in Baton Rouge. We are one team, one podcast. We are going to be back on Wednesday. I just got a phone call from Cecil Collins. So we were going to have to schedule that one day as well. And we're going to have possibly a Friday night show. And I didn't even tell you about this, Jack, and I'm not sure if you can do it, but it's going to be a Friday night football. Nice. We have the Basil Bearcats they're doing their kickoff party, and they may be joining us live on Friday. I'm going to try to set that up as well. So got a lot of stuff going on. It's a very busy week.
You said this Friday.
This Friday.
Okay.
So very busy week, and we hope everybody stay safe and enjoy game